guys, welcome back to Pods with Elena. In this pod is going to tell you what is Chinese New Year, and we're going to analyzing and describing Chinese New Year through anthropological perspectives. My name is Elena, a UC psychology student from China. In this week's podcast, we're going to take an in-depth look in exploring cultural differences and how these differences inform our daily life. Cultural anthropology explores how people from different places live in their surrounding world. It is about the different ideas about the rules of how people interacting with other people from perspectives like eating, thinking patterns or behaviors. As we all know, I'm from China. We have a lot of costumes or practices we have to keep doing, such as giving out hongbao during New Year or celebrating 2 birthdays in 1 year. This is actually because when we're back in China, most people counting days using lunar calendar instead of the calendars that we use in daily. If you ask any Chinese people that what day is a Lunar New Year is, they cannot tell you the answer immediately because it is changing every year and they have to follow the lunar calendar. Same as the other countries, China has started their calendar history from astrology as well. Chinese people using lunar calendar to celebrate the traditional festivals and their culture. From a historical perspective, the Chinese calendar originated from 3 different lunisolar calendar, and then into 24 fortnightly period. And each empire has their own power to alter or create their own calendar. Each of the 12 years is a cycle, so everyone will be given a zodiac from the day that they were born. They also celebrating the zodiac each Chinese New Year as well. From an archaeology perspective, the earliest celebration of Chinese New Year can be traced to 1600 to 1700 BCE. And the traditions such as giving out hongbao is going to be celebrated on the first day of the New Year. And this practice was started from 1600 BCE as well. The most famous folklore of Chinese New Year is that people using red firecrackers and red papers on the wall to scare away the Nianmao star. And since then, the tradition of using red or giving out hongbao is raised and kept. With the time changing, Chinese New Year now has moderately become a global festival. And the people that celebrated the festival, including Asian living in other countries, native Chinese, and the new generations of China. Research has indicated that festivals or costumes provide opportunities to create united behaviors, thinking patterns, and cultural traditions. Festivals like Chinese New Year could promote social cohesion, and it helps Chinese people to expressing their acceptance on their identity and social group. Through creating dependence and belonging in this traditional practice, people from the same group create similar beliefs, religions, and behavior. In the past 1,000 years, China has been predominantly agrarian country. People from south of the Yangtze River are known as Southern Land, and the opposite are Northerners. Compared to the northern people, southerners receive more rainwater than the other side. Therefore, they grew rice and fish as their primary food. Speaking of the dinner of the New Year, people primarily consume jiaozi, or fish with both lucky meanings and good wishes for the next year, which is also a significant custom culturally. Every family member is expected to consume dinner on the eve of the New Year. Chinese people always put a lucky coin in one of the jiaozi. People who take this one are being praised and have better luck in the coming year. It is unique with the other foods. It connects the seasonal and agriculture cycles on special days or occasions. The New Year has also formed a cultural norm where people give hongbao during the day, bring gifts to the other relatives, and say lucky talks to people. Gift-giving behaviors in China is quite normal. There are 3 parts involved in gift-giving behaviors: Chinese cultural value, personal value, and the motivation of the gift-giving. According to a horse observation, people are willing to purchase more valuable gifts during Chinese New Year. And gift-giving behavior is actually a result of social exchange. It represents an individual's social status and cultural behavior patterns. And this behavior is heavily cultural dependent. Chinese migrants in England do not give gifts as frequently as they were in China. For people in China, giving out a gift is a method that helps everyone sharing or participating in other people's life, and it is seen as a significant way to reinforce the relationship. The motivation of gift giving is found to be associated with maintaining social relationships, reciprocity, and face saving. In one of the interviews that On and Turn did, the client indicated that relationships have a greater impact on my gift giving, especially how you feel about another person. Chinese people follow the lunar calendar to start a brand new year. It is very significant in Chinese cultural norms, and people need to clean their house completely, where it clear out the bad luck and brings good things and fortune to the house. During Chinese New Year, the family vibe is especially significant. People from all over the country, even all over the world, will try their best to get home. From a historical perspective, the impact of this family value is significantly associated with Confucian and Buddhist thoughts. Research indicated that, as one of the significant cultural expectations, kids in China are expected to take care of their elderly parents. And the society requires the children to obey to their parents unconditionally. Even the poem in China will demonstrate sentences like "parents are over everything." The other custom that might happen during Chinese New Year in some countryside places is that female will not be able to eat on the table, and the table is only offered for males or elderly people. Even though it has improved recent years, however, the gender differentiation in China is still significantly serious. This can be the result from multiple areas, such as kids in China are educated that women help out in the family and males are in charge of other things outside of the house. However, with the expansion of the communication with other countries, this phenomenon has become better and the traditional family value would be replaced. Other than that, society also becomes more child-centered and more generous on females and kids. Last point of the podcast is that recent years, a debate has been raised on social media about the distinction between Lunar New Year and Chinese New Year. There are two sides of the debate where people who supported the Lunar New Year argue that this festival is being celebrated from multiple countries and they have their own ceremony, foods, and costumes. Whereas the other side argues that China is the origin of the lunisolar calendar, and it does have the implications of the history on this festival. An associate from the University of Western Australia studying in cultural diversity said that this is more of a cultural conflict between Asian countries under the current political environment. As the Chinese, I have to say that the New Year for us is actually to remove the bad and the old things and welcome in the new and good things. It's time for us to pray for the good harvest. Thank you guys listening to today's podcast. I'll see you next time.